cool. It says upcoming. Oh, that one's for, wait, today's the 16th. Jimmy, do you, oh no, there we go. Oh, the stream's actually like for real started now. Fantastic. This is so hilarious. Let me. There we go. That's so funny. Guys, like the number of parts and pieces that have to go right for things to happen, I'm amazed anything ever happens in the world. For one of these streams, we have to get me in a room at the correct time, same time every day. And if there's a scheduling conflict, then we move it to a different time. We have to schedule it ahead of time. We have our main streaming console right here that we control. And then that has to connect into YouTube streaming, which needs to work well. We need to turn on the stream on YouTube. Then we need to turn on the stream over here. And then we need to make sure that the lights are turned on inside of the studio. And then we need to make sure that I'm here, make sure you got the Dr. Pepper and all the stuff. And then once we turn it on, it might still not work because Chrome will have logged you into a different Gmail account and then it breaks. And then you have to get it started, but then it doesn't start until the actual scheduled stream starts to start up, because that's how that works. Just all this stuff to where I'm amazed anything works. And this is also why simplicity is so helpful, because if we just stream every day at noon, all those things can start to become rhythm, and it just happens out of habit, and it's autopilot. But trying to make this work in the experimental model, so much effort and shenanigans. Okay, what's up, Rick? What's up, Jimmy? How's it all going, y'all? Lunch hour, just hour. We ain't got hours. I ain't got time for that. But whatever you guys want to go over, let me know, and we'll run through it. As far as discussions, well, if we're doing this right now, we need to actually, I've got OBS right here, so I'm gonna go ahead and just run through stl-bash.slant.tools.com. Make sure this is working, and if this is working, then by golly, I can push that button. Nope, can't push that button. I can push that button. We're still on the numpad, Parker. I'm just gonna go ahead and organize the thing. Let's go ahead and drop this in here, and this will be, yeah, this should be mildly entertaining. I wonder what this looks in mobile. Well, I'll get back to what it looks like in mobile here in just a bit. But we'll go ahead and pattern that. Oh wait, pattern it after I select a model. Pattern this, rectangular pattern. I'm going to do a 2x10. Right? Ah! Sorry, I deleted a thing. All right. 2 by... Oh, we've got a bug in the thing. Good to know. I will get online and fix that a little bit later on. But for now, I will allow that to work. All right. And then if I go, yep. That's funny. But yeah, now you got a new little drawer organizer there. I can download it or move it around or move these individual bodies around. I actually didn't know we had done that. That's kind of cool because now you can do something where you grab it like this, move it up like that, and you can make an organizer rack that's actually really interesting. And now, that's cool. That's pretty darn cool, actually. Let me have this. And then I'll move this over here just a little bit so they blend well. And we actually, what I'll do is I'll make this just a tad abstract, just like this, and like this. And then we've got this thing to where you can tile them together. And that's cool. And now you got an organizer set that you can stack and move and blend, which would be awfully sick. All right, how does this look on regular stuff? Doesn't look like nothing because I hit 2 and I ruined the whole thing. I'm going back to the STL builder. This was the thing that I was making. So talking about things going right again, we have control of views right here on this numpad, but we need to get it along the top bar. We'll get to that one of these days. But I made this new little organizer set. And then if I want to go ahead, I'm gonna put a phone charger in the top of one of these things. So let's just go ahead and do that. I'll move this around. I'm gonna go ahead and put this, I'll put the phone charger into the bottom. Right here, just like this, just like that. And then just do a Boolean on that. And then now I'll have a slot ready for a wireless phone charger in the bottom of my thingamajig once it gets done there. We'll come back to that. All right, what is everybody saying? Can you recommend a video for folks just starting out with a product and no social media following? Local2432. Yeah, go over to the Slant Pod channel. We have a video called, I think it's called The Only Script You'll Ever Need, or This is the Script to Follow for Videos. And it literally walks through how to, the script that you need to use. And this is the script. You show off the thing in action, you say what it is, why it solves the problem, and then you say who you are. And here's an example. Let me just go ahead and nail this down. Hey everybody, this is the awesome new Spring Zinger fidget toy that is just so amazing, and it's a great thing when I'm at my desk and need to find something to do. You have a button to push, a slinger to sling, and a clicker that clicks so that you can get all the satisfying feel that you need when you need to just get that anxiety out. My name's Gabe. I've been designing these types of things for the last couple of years, trying to build a 3D printing business. You can buy one at the link in the description. That's your video. Now do that 10 more times, 10 different ways. And that's your video. You do not have to be on video. You can just film the thing with your hands down there. That's a way of doing it. You can use an AI voice, and you can use ChatGPT to make a script. But if you are stopped by the fact that you need to make a video to advertise your item, you're probably not going to sell your item. So if you're getting stopped somewhere along that way, you got to get over it and figure out a thing to do, because business is uncomfortable. If you want to sell a thing, you're going to be uncomfortable. What is this you are showing us? STL Builder. This is STL Bash. STL Bash is a software tool that we released a little while back that you can just drop STLs into and like level them and reset them and that kind of stuff. It's just a handy little tool. Wait, I still haven't moved stuff over here. Let me go ahead. STL Bash. We're refining it. We keep on adding stuff to it all the time, but STL Bash just lets you come on in here. You've got the main view. It's kind of meant to be a replacement for 3D Builder. We have models that like we have designed in it, so you can drag these in here and mess around with them. Kit bash them together. So you like the videos from our slant drawer video last week, or the models are in here from that. You can bring them around. And then you have like a few of these standard like negatives that can be really useful for creating items. So like this is a suction cup negative. Let me see here. Where is that? Let me delete this real fast. But the suction cup negative will cut a hole in your existing STL that will work with one of our suction cups. So let me grab, I can't select just that suction cup. Hold on a second. There we go. Wait, there we are. Move that over here. Here's this suction cup. Right here. Move it over here. You got the model of the suction cup itself. I'm gonna go ahead and put it into the top of this organizer here, and this will cut out a keyhole for our third-party suction cup to be included. So if I go ahead and then just hit this and then go for Boolean subtract, if we don't have any bugs, it should go ahead and remove that from the other model there. And we'll let that run for a bit. Sometimes the Boolean subtract can take a long time because some of these are kind of big models. But yeah, so there's that. Yeah, that's the whole thing. It's a tool that we've kind of built out just to be a fun thing. There's a few of them that we've built. We have STL Grouper, which is another one that's coming out here soon that will allow you to you upload like 50 files, and then it'll read the names of the files and say, these look like pairs. And then it'll combine those pairs into single files so that you can do like pair batching, which is fine. That's the simplest way of doing that kind of stuff. It's useful for a lot of our existing folks. And then let's see here. STL Builder. Yeah. Then let's see here. While we're here, anything else people want to go over? We got a few decent number of folks showing up. Our mobile view has me cropped out in the bottom. Darn. Well, that's good to know. We'll revamp that the next time around so the view is a little bit different. I need to make sure that I keep the frame in center and stuff. But yeah, trying to stream a desktop app into mobile is a little bit challenging. So does making kitchen items out of PLA that touch food and utensils unsafe? I've seen it go both ways. That's that it's fine or that it's the worst thing to do. Everybody who says it's the worst thing to do is wrong. It's fine to use PLA parts in the kitchen. Here's the thing. Have you ever used a wooden spoon in the kitchen? 3D printed part. If you are some college kid who's going to take a 3D printed koozie and dump yogurt into it and then bury it under your bed for a month and then not wash it, that might be a problem. But if you're a normal human, 3D printed parts are fine. You can eat off of plates. You can eat with a plastic 3D printed spoon. I have no problem licking this, except that we have to make a video with that, so I'm not going to do that for things. But the food safety of 3D printing is such a incorrectly informed conversation. Some people say that there's lead in 3D prints. That's complete and utter total BS. Like, it's frustratingly bad how much that BS is. Producer, throw the video to the lead video in there. As far as like contamination, have you scratched your plastic Tupperware? That's the same as a scratch or a layer line in a 3D print. Oh, it can leak into the 3D print inside of the infill. You know what else can leak inside of the infill? Soapy water to get any germs that break through the barrier of the print. You know what else has lines and internal knots and holes and cracks? Wood. You know what else? Just nothing you eat is clean or good, nor should it be. This idea of like hospital level sterility inside of the kitchen is not what is necessary for food safe. Also, by the way, food safe is defined by the FDA and is on a product by product basis and has nothing to do with the process. It is on a product by product basis. So if you actually want your product to be qualified food safe by the FDA, you have to take it to a lab, test it out, make sure it hits certain parameters around retaining of bacteria and washability, and you'll find out that most 3D prints are fine. Man, that's frustrating. But yeah, you can make kitchen items. You can make cookie cutters. You can make spoons. You can make mixers. You can make bowls. All of it is fine. Go crazy. Just don't make like a container for holding a raw steak overnight, something that's like directly in contact with blood or fish juice. That's not great. You do want something with a nice uniform finish because it is difficult to clean the layer lines for something like that. But if you're doing flour or even some eggs and oils and vanilla and that kind of stuff, not like directly dangerous blood-borne bacterial things like blood, you're fine. But that's true of like everything. I don't store my steak in a wooden box either. So yeah, just kind of use common sense about that. Finally, someone who gets it. Yeah, stay ready 3D print. It is so amazing to me how much this stupid conversation has gone completely off the rails in the 3D printing community. It's just so wildly incorrect. Yes. This is really close to me because we've been working on a food safe video because so many people don't really address it because it's all this oogie boogie kind of rumor of like, I saw this paper, but it's from an undergraduate or whatever else it was. So we're putting together a video that's like just so deeply researched that like no one can contest it outside of the people who always say, but whatever. But we're just trying to knock it down because ultimately all the research and analysis and everything else just comes down to common sense. You don't put a steak in a wooden box. Okay, don't put a steak in a 3D print. But you can use it as a cutting board. You can make cookies with it. It's fine. There's such this disconnect here. It's not like we're eating out of plastic for 50 years already. Oh, KP Trade, the thing about plastic, the microplastics of like, oh no, microplastics just gonna kill you. Number one, there is no research right now that says that microplastics do anything. It's too early. We don't know what microplastics do. But second of all, the amount of microplastic you get from eating a salad wrapped in clean wrap is like 5 times more than you would get from drinking out of a 3D printed cup. That's the difference in microplastics there. So yeah, There's no lead. Microplastics is less than other things. We don't know that microplastics do anything, so don't go worry about something else. Bacteria growing in it grows in everything. So just get on with life. Don't let your food rot inside of your containers and then lick your container. And life seems to work okay. Yep. Where's my keys at? You hit the nerve. This is a conversation that's been coming up so often. Or not, it doesn't come up often, but like the information about it is so bad. And like, if you ever see comment threads of it, people have this back and forth, and it's not a back and forth conversation. This is very cut and dried. But people will vehemently say, don't let a 3D print touch food because it's toxic. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's just a thing. Go out. Have you ever touched dirt? Go touch some grass. You know how unsterile and unclean grass is? But if you wanted to, you could go out to a park and start mowing it with your teeth, and you would be fine. Humans shouldn't eat grass, but, you know, it wouldn't be from bacteria. You get your roughage. You get your fiber in. That's how you do that. Oh. What else, folks? Which other one? What other 3D printing community myths are there out there? Oh, by the way, video coming up this weekend. We've got these things coming through that I am so jazzed about. Like these. Oh, that one's got water in it. Not going to use that one anymore. It is water, though. It's one that we've at least cleaned. That's something. We've been accumulating these cans for a number of different things. Okay. What else, folks? Come on, let me have it. Hit me with it. Give me something good. Let's get a rant rolling. Must be in Texas, Dr. Pepper. I got that on the last one, too. Everybody was just like, Dr. Pepper is a Texas drink. And I'm like, no, I'm in Boise, Idaho. I love Texas, and I love sweet tea, and I do love Dr. Pepper. But I didn't realize that Dr. Pepper was like owned by the Texans. That's funny to me. But it's delicious, and it's good, and everybody should have one. People don't know what they're missing. People become entrenched in their opinions, and after a while, even show real data and facts will still argue against you. Oh yeah, Ernie, that's part of it. People would rather be correct than be told they're correct rather than be correct. It's human nature that we hold on to our beliefs, like you say there, and it's just part of it. But ultimately, even the people who like are against just obvious truth. Here's the thing: obvious truth has gotten weird in the last few years. But I would say commonsensical truth. Like during COVID, when people were like, you need to social distance by 20 feet because the germs will make it through the air to you and kill you. And I'm like, sunlight works. Like, your mask and 20 feet away is not as good as the beams of radiation sizzling those germs as they leave my mouth. And all the rest of it. Will Tangled offer clear PLA. It's not a bad idea. We haven't done clear PLA because the base resin of PLA that we use is called NGO 4043. And NGO 4043, when you make it clear, has like a yellowish tint to it, which is gross. It looks like tea almost. So it's fine to color. But if you ever get a white that's like looks kind of like it's got a warm undertone to it, like kind of a yellow undertone, just barely, that's generally 4043 because the white can't block it out. But for all the other colors, it doesn't matter. We use 4043 because it's the most affordable version of PLA, and PLA is not affordable, but the most affordable. But yeah, we just haven't done clear because you can't get a good crystal clear. Crystal clear PLA is NGO 850, and NGO 850 looks beautiful, but is very expensive. It's also, by the way, was designed as an ABS replacement once you anneal it. But yeah, that clear PLA is just very expensive. So we haven't really used it much. And we have like 20 pallets of 4043 still left over, so that's a thing. Alrighty, what else, guys? How far away are we from prompting LLMs to get 3D models to the level where folks won't need to learn CAD? I just started learning Fusion and enjoying it, but will be learning curve. Zach Hovener? So, here's the thing with LLMs. For LLMs to be able to do, we will be able to do CAD with LLMs when a robot is reliably able to walk up to any door and open it. And we are not there right now. This is the thing. So with LLMs, the scaling laws, everybody talks about more compute, more power, more data, they get up to a certain level. But what we have found is that what the LLMs have all done is that they scaled up very quickly and got smarter with each generation and more compute. But now they've basically leveled off at average human. And that is from data refinement and continuing to compute it, because an LLM is basically a compression algorithm. So it takes the data, densifies it, and coordinates it, but it still is working with that base truth. It's working with human knowledge, and human knowledge is average. And there's not enough exceptional knowledge to push LLMs into exceptional performance. That data constraint of designs of 3D models is part of the reason that LLMs are kind of bad at CAD, because they don't have a good contextualization and spatial awareness. So when I say put the hole at the bottom of that part, it doesn't really understand bottom very well. There's ways of getting around this. There's always a solution to these types of problems. But of the places that make money, CAD is not yet on the top of the list. But we're probably, right now you can use tools like Meshy and Rodin, and we built an AI app that generates models like these kinds of models, because the way these work is if I say, give me a can holder that it looks like a sweater, then what the LLM will do is it will generate images of a 360 of this thing. Then from those images, it will put it back together. That works for this because this is an organic shape. And an organic shape is fantastic because if it's a little bit off, no one notices. An engineering shape, if one of these gears or wheels is off by a little bit, they no longer turn. So you can't use like the reverse AI generated photogrammetry method that a lot of them are using right now with these. They have 3D model refinements inside of there too, but it's mainly photogrammetry from AI generated models. But the actual engineering models where you need to very specifically place a feature someplace, this has been really tough to do. Because there's just not enough data of how to design parts well. Like if we wanted to build an LLM that makes 3D printable componentry, we don't have enough models with a chamfer on the bottom layer to get the thing to make a chamfer on the bottom layer. And you can see these limitations of like broad precision in things like customer support chatbots. The fact that LLMs are still kind of go off the rails and are squishy, you can't do much with. That being said, current AI 3D model generators can do fantastic work. Oh, here, actually, I'm going to go ahead and pop up another thing. Here, conjurcad.com/cookie. Let me go ahead and I'm going to put this over here real fast so I can watch chat right there. But I want to, just a moment, let me get this here so I can see both previews. Okay, let's go ahead and change the view there. All right, so right here, we have an AI cookie cutter generator. You can go ahead and say, make me a flower cookie cutter. And let's see if we can watch this break. What we should see in just a moment is it will think about it, it will create a design, and then it will go ahead and create the model. And there's your cookie cutter with all the joy and wonder that you want to see within it. This is using a combination of an LLM with some other 3D model post-processing. Show me a Jedi. I have never tried this. I don't know if it'll do a Jedi. Let's see. What's up here? It's a pretty good Jedi. Yeah, there you go. So there is the cookie cutter that does all the stuff that you want it to do. So you have the stamp and then you have the outline over here. But this is AI 3D modeling. But it's for a very specific use case where we've kind of put guardrails on it so that it creates what we want the way we want it. Let me go ahead and paste this into chat so that everybody can mess around with it if you want to. But yeah, let's see here. Let's see what we got. 3D printed PC cases. Should they be printed on ESD filament? Nah, Jimmy, you're fine. ESD safe stuff. You can definitely get away with a PC case, a regular PC case, and it probably won't cause any problems. Because the PC is generally on your desk, it's not really exposed to a lot of electrostatic discharge. Yeah, you don't have to worry about it that much. LLMs are simpler things is fine. Things where you don't need extremely specific details and crucial parts. Exactly where they need to be. Things where you don't need features to be exact. Well, you can use the LLMs work fine for features that are exact, but again, you have to give them the guardrails so that they don't go off of it. We're working on some generator tools right now for electrical enclosures, and they work fine as long as you say only move these dimensions and don't touch anything else, because LLMs just wander off and do things that you didn't ask for. Vibe coding is a great example of this. You fix the problem, but while it was fixing that problem, it looked at all the other code and decided to move it around too. So you have this kind of amorphous blob that you're trying to push into a shape. Again, works well for organic shapes when you're modeling, but it's bad when you're trying to do precision coding. I think we are very far from LLMs being able to make specific and detailed parts and products to fit exactly what is needed. We're not super far. We're closer than people think, but it'll take longer than we hope. Because it's a 99% kind of a thing. Like, if you've got a brick and you need the hole at 2 inches, 2 inches and an eighth is 99% there, but is completely wrong. That's the problem of precision that you have to deal with, is the challenge there. But again, you can kind of wrangle them. Okay. Let's see here. I don't need that anymore. Let's go ahead and go back to this. Put that over there. Okay. I printed one of these hoodie holders the other day. Really? You got one of these? This designer, this gal who did this, I'm not sure if she fully sculpted it or if it is an AI-based model that she then scaled up. I'm kind of leaning toward an AI-based model, but it doesn't matter. It's a great idea. This is a really good idea. We're doing our koozie video, and these are kind of a part of it. It was very hard to get Slicer Ninja to angle the file properly and added supports, but we got it finally. What's Slicer Ninja? Yeah, give me more context. I took your advice regarding treating the marble tract as a product that lasts and can be reconfigured, and now I'm literally mentioning that in all my ads and future promotions. Hey, fantastic, man. Yeah, I'm glad that was working out for you. Keep your stats, watch your stats, make sure that everything is trending in the correct direction, and move from there. That's the thing to do for sure. Okay. What else, guys? Anybody have any problems with teleport? We released the new facelift yesterday. Everybody seems to be doing well. We haven't seen any bugs. Everybody seems to like it. Doing matches, people are trying stuff. That's all great. So, but yeah, let me know if there's any issues on that. For anybody who's new, teleport is our print-on-demand plugin. You can plug it in like an Etsy store or an eBay store, and when you get an order, we will automatically print and ship that item out for you. So you get access to hundreds of 3D printers for your business so that you can have 5 or 10 core machines for prototyping and product development and fulfilling some orders. But then you can take the overflow and the production over to us, which is a way handier way of kind of going about it, so that you get real scale, and 99.5% of your orders will ship in under 2 days, even during Christmas, because that's what we did last year. Let's see here. How do you deal with negative comments on your products? I don't 3D print things, but I know a guy who got out of the restaurant business because people would write dumb negative reviews. Where's my keys at? So, this is a good question. I'm fairly public. I know that there's some areas of the internet and the 3D printing community that just hate my guts and just actively want to say like, Gabe's such a jerk. And I get that. That's fair. That's fine. People are allowed to do that. And if everybody likes you, you know you don't have any opinions. So that's good. I'm glad that there are people who just actively, vehemently dislike Slant 3D because at least we're making some decisions. But in the how to deal with it, it's really, you get used to it and you recognize that there's a lot of people in the world and not everyone needs to like you. It's tougher for a local restaurant business because those reviews are important to you. For us, it ends up in like YouTube comments to where I gotta read through, this guy's such a moron, what's an idiot, that'll never work, all those kinds of things. I have just built up a thick skin over time because I've been on the internet for a long time doing this kind of stuff. And it's now, I'm not going to say it's easy because I'm still human. But the thing I always tell people when people kind of ask me this, I'm like, I've been kicked by a horse. I don't feel that bad when somebody throws mean words at me. It's sticks and stones. Now, if in like the case of the restaurant, though, that actively affects your business. Other customers will not get stuff from you. Here's the thing, though. Reviews are one way of people evaluating your business, but people generally evaluate your business based on their interaction with it. If their first interaction is negative reviews, they won't like your business. But if their first interaction is talking to the owner or having a great meal there with some friends or something like that, then it's fine. So there's ways of dealing with it where you just need to overpower it, but you also have to be very cognizant of, are those reviews correct? Do those reviews expose something that's wrong in the business? The food was bad. No, it's not. My food was great. Was your food great? I don't know. That you have to be very exceptionally truthful with yourself of where the problems are. Like when we released Teleport, when we first released it, we had lots of bugs of like parts going through. Because like when we first did it, we thought, okay, if people order a part, we're going to print the part and ship it to them, whether it's printable or not. And we very quickly changed that because we realized, okay, people are not, we had an instant refund policy, but people would get a bad part and they would just think Slant 3D made a bad part. Whereas we thought, we're going to send them the part, they can cancel and refund the order, but then they get to learn how to improve the part. But it wasn't taken in that educational context. So we're like, okay, if a part can't be printed well, then we cancel the order and we send a note over saying why that part can't be printed well. And that's a better way of dealing it because then a person never has a bad part in their hands and they can't think, oh, they do a bad job. No, you got to design a part that's printable, but we since we can't send you the part so that you can see it physically, we got to try to communicate that in other ways to guide people to a better ultimate product design. So that was a challenge at the beginning. And we had to realize that the way we were doing it was wrong, and we needed to change how we were doing it so that people would have a better experience with the whole thing. And now 1 out of 100 orders have some sort of issue or QC problem or complaint at all. And that even includes prototypes. And prototypes are always something weird. People will... It's so funny. Here are like the types of test parts we get. We will get the giant cube that just fills the build volume completely. We will get a calibration test and stuff. So people will send us like torture tests and like the torture toaster files to see, can Slant 3D print as well? And then we also get just weird parts. Like people will explicitly just build a terrible part. There was one we had the other day that was basically like a bunch of pointed stars with the points straight down on the bed, just in a row, like 20 of them, which is very difficult to print, but I think we got them all out so it worked. And these used to be frustrating when they came through, but it's kind of funny now and kind of a challenge because it's like somebody's trying to test us. We got to get this out just to show them that we can get this done. And it's more of a challenge than a gotcha. And it's more fun that way now too. Most recent, how many employees do you currently have? Concept Crafted Creations. So Slant 3D, we're a pretty tight team. Right now, Slant has anywhere from 10 to 15 employees, kind of depending on the season or if we have jobs. Because during Christmas, we'll have more people. It can go up to like 20 there at times for packing and shipping and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it varies, and we're always constantly growing and bringing in new people, but we're also a startup. So there's a lot of people who will just move on. They'll like do a year and they're like, this is great, did great work, but I don't like this in the acceleration around here. And we're like, that's cool, man. Like, it's not for everybody. Like, the stuff that we do and the way Slant 3D does stuff, we're very aggressive and always have things. It, like, when I talk to the software team or the video team, I'm always like, great, glad we got that out the door. Now, what are we going to do next? And they're just like, can't we just enjoy this for a minute, Gabe? And I'm like, no. As soon as we get to enjoying stuff, then it's all going to blow up in our faces and somebody's going to scoop us. What's the next thing? How do we make this better? That video got 1 million views. Great. How do we get 10? I've had this recently. My producer on this live stream, the editor who pretty much runs the live streams, he's been like, Gabe, you've been getting really good concurrent views here for a live stream here. And I'm like, great. How do we get up where Ninja is? Which is a dated reference. How do we get up where Ludwig is? And he's just like, you're a 3D printing channel. I'm like, what is your point? That is the upper tier. This is where we are. I don't care if we're better than everybody else who's down here. I want to know how close we are to that guy. And if we're not up there, then we got stuff to do. Which freaks people out. I was using portals, but having issues with print quality. Support was great, but I have been left with the feeling of not being able to count on consistent quality. One Man 3D, let me know what the part is. Let's deal with it right now. Yeah, what kind of issues are you having? If you're not able to share, actually, I might be able to, can I? I think I can probably, I will email, oh shoot, how do I get this over here? I would have the submission form. Have you shot photos over to support? Sometimes admittedly, there are some parts that we just can't make. Because with like print on demand, there are pieces that can be so complex or have particular sort of standards or requirements that we're just like, that can't be made reliably in print on demand. So either a design needs to be made differently or maybe do a production run. If you want, like if you have really particular specs for a part, you can submit it to our quoting form, and then you can say, I need this, 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 and this, and then we can quote it. It's like, okay, I need each part measured to 1,000th of an inch. Okay, cool, but we got to pay for that measuring. Inside of Teleport and Portals, in order to keep parts affordable and where they are, there are like baseline specs and QC checks inside of it that might not work for everybody. So like the QC checks that we do are support removal, surface blemishes, stains on the bottom, there has to be more than 3 stains larger than 1 millimeter on the bottom. If it's like a white part, that's the spec for that. Warp at the corners is allowed to be up to 0.75 millimeters, which is done through a depth guide there. And on down the list. So Whisk is the tester that we do, which is warp, defects, shifting, skips, and Whisk, okay. I can't remember it now off the top of my head. But yeah, shoot it over to me. Also, by the way, with Portals is really stringent because you can only do a few things. So if it's, yeah, just shoot us over what it is and we'll see if we can get it taken care of. That's the easiest thing to do. Okay, let's see. And, you know, sometimes we just accidentally ship bad parts. 1 out of 300 parts has some sort of issue with it. We're humans and we make mistakes. It comes up. We try to minimize them. The goal this year is to make sure that we're down to 1 out of 500 orders having any sorts of problems. And we're on a good trend to do that. I just went to look at your website to see where you're located and clicked on the careers tab. And the copyright at the bottom of the page says 1908. You guys almost 120 years old? No. But but I hate the copyright tags down at the bottom of websites because they're silly. So question for the chat. What happened in 1908? I'll leave that for everybody. Support worked with me. They were able to come close to my own quality. Perhaps I'm too picky. Oh, fair enough then. Well, great. I'm glad the support team was able to take care of you. Yeah, Jenny and Leo do a great job over there. Yeah, it's possible that, yeah, Portals just might not be the right fit for it if you have a really specific spec there. But anyhow, yeah. I have a question for the chat. What happened in 1908? What are key events in 1908? That will give you some insight as to why we used that number. Here's the thing. Guys, the copyrights at the bottom of websites are ridiculous because they don't do anything. It's an artifact of website templates. It does basically nothing because you don't need a copyright at the bottom of the site. If you're using a template, you don't have a legitimate copyright to the template. The original designer does. If it is written work, if it's original written work, there's a timestamp on when it's published. So if like somebody ripped your website and used like your blog post or your site design or your catchphrase or something like that, number one, your catchphrase and your logo should be copyrighted. Content on your site, if you're copyrighting it, it's kind of silly because it's not going to be relevant in a year. And if it is truly unique copy and design on that site, then the publish date is in the metadata of the site and you don't need it publicly published. So if you were in a court of law, you just pull that and say it was published right here, there it is. And that's as legitimate as copyright date because we can put in any copyright date that we want. Whoa, what happened to chat? Oh, gotcha. Thanks, Parker. So given the fact that the copyright tag, also people bring this up all the time. People message us all the time that the copyright is a year off or something like that. We would be like a few days tardy in like 2021 and people are being like, your copyright says 2021, but it's 2022. I'm just like, this doesn't matter. And then finally I was just like, guys, to heck with it. Make the copyright something cool and fun because it's irrelevant. So we made it 1908. So now the question is, what happened in 1908? I'll let that continue to percolate for a little bit as everybody goes through, and we'll see what happens there. Okay. Take Me Out to the Ball Game was copyrighted. In 1908, the Byrne Act. I don't know what the Byrne Act was. State invention of 3D printing. Nope. Henry Ford invented the Model T. We have a winner. Well done. It wasn't invented. It started production in 1908. The reason we picked 1908 is because Slant 3D is doing mass production 3D printing. Ford didn't invent the first car. He invented the first mass producible car. We didn't invent 3D printing. We're inventing the first way of doing mass production with it. So we thought it would be appropriate of picking Easter egg dates to pick another manufacturing milestone in history. It was that, and or there were a couple other dates where we were like, like the cotton gin was kind of one of those, and I was like, nah, that one's not right. And then like lean manufacturing, so like when Toyota was founded was when we were thinking about at 1.2, but we were like, that's too close. People will think it's a real date. So we were like, 1908 is far enough back that people will know it's not a website date that's real. But it's interesting enough that people can run it down a bit. General Motors was founded? Was General Motors founded in 1908 too? I didn't realize that Ford and General Motors started at the same time. Well, Ford was running for a little bit earlier there. What else, guys? Let's see here. How much time do we have? Okay, we got 15 minutes yet still for the stream, so we can still do stuff. Looks like you're taking Ford's quote to heart that you can print any color as long as it's black. We can print 16 and 18 colors. We took Ford's quote to heart with Tangled. You can have any Tangled color you want so long as it's black. And then a month ago we introduced gray because we were feeling frisky. But like, yes, we do. We take that to heart. But the thing is, Ford produced tens of millions of cars in a few years and was only able to do that because they had so much standardization throughout. The Ford Detroit plant was enormous and cranked out a Model T every 3 seconds or whatever it was, or 30 seconds, some absurd number. But that was only possible because they didn't have variation. if they made another model of car, it needs an entirely separate and different factory and does not sell as many units. That early on in cars, people didn't need a ton of variation in cars. They needed a car of some sort. And Ford made it affordable, scalable, and reliable. And you could get spare parts for it. So simplicity is so important to just doing something well. As soon as you add in a variation, you double the complexity. For us, with like colors, if we introduce a new color, we need to qualify it, make sure all the slicing settings work, print 20 to 100 parts with that color, make sure that they stay stable throughout. Then someone will still upload something and break it throughout, which will slow down processing time on those orders. So for the first month, some orders may go out slower because people will throw something weird at us that we didn't prepare for, because you can never plan enough, which means people have kind of a meh experience. Or we can take all that effort of bringing on that one new color and just continue to refine the existing stuff that we have so that it is exceptional. And instead of having 99.5% of parts go out in under 2 days, make 99% of parts go out in under 1 day. Simplification and extreme and total focus is so important. And here's the thing, I am so guilty of doing too many things, but I am also guilty of killing a bunch of stuff and having some amount of restraint, because every single print service that has ever been created, guys, has gone out of business because they create too much variation. That's one of the key problems. There's a bunch of other problems too, but too many options is always one of the big ones. We're doing FDM. Well, people ask for SLA. Let's add in SLA. No! That's another process and different expertise category and different customer group. You just built another company. You don't have time for that. Okay. Just tried to make an image with cookie cutter and nightlight, but it seems to crash Conjure CAD. Oh, maybe it might have gone down. Does it like freeze crash, or did the site go down? Because we've had a problem with high usage the last little bit. The guys have been trying to keep the servers running. Let me check in on this. Looks like site is still fine. Let me do a refresh. Your photo. What was the photo? Photo should be fine. Sometimes the API could slow down a little bit there or so, but shouldn't be a big deal. It's certainly optimized, like Cookie CAD or Cookie Conjure is certainly optimized for more outline cutters and like clip art sort of things. But if you upload a photo, it is effectively converted into clip art. Do I have a photo on me? No, I don't have a photo on me right now. But we're working on refining the photo stuff. As an affiliate type thing, is there a way I can use your C as an affiliate? Oh, API as affiliate type thing. So have people. Is there a way I can use your website to allow people to put orders through us and get a commission? So basically, link your site on our website. Oh, stay ready 3D print. Here's the thing. We were literally talking about this morning. Go ahead. Can you please email info@slant3d.com? There is a way. If you go to like the Slant 3D website, we have an auto quoting tool on there. We can just white label that quoting tool and give it to you, and then the orders will come to us and we will print and ship them out for you. But people can immediately order them for you, and that can just sit on your website, and we can just rejigger the pricing so that you get like a 25% commission on top of the cost of printing. And then, that's how that would work. And if there's a customer there coming through you, the convenience of being able to get it there through you is there. So we're happy to build those white label solutions for people. And we'll just knock out a version that has your logo at the top and go from there. That's totally fine. Image of Bowser from Mario Brothers. Oh, it may have hung because it's a copyrighted design. It may have hung for that, because there's some safeguards in there for certain types of stuff. I know I just got away with like Jedi, but it was a generic Jedi. If it's a particular character, it might get hung for copyright stuff. That may have caused a hang up in the guardrails of stuff. You also can't upload nude photos and stuff like that to Cookie Conjure, because that would be bad. So we have some of those things in there. There's some copyright protections. I'm not sure how deep those go, honestly. So you might be able to get like certain logos and stuff knocked out of it, but I'm gonna bet that's what the problem was on that. Being a small business, what are your biggest hurdles you've gone through? Mine is maintaining marketing, prints, orders, keeping up with demand and trademark issues. Any advice? So, R5S bad motivator. You're at a point where you need to learn to hire people. If you're having trouble keeping up with demand, that is the signal that you need to hire people. If you don't want to hire people, you better learn how to do it. Otherwise, you stay a small business. So, yes, we're definitely a small business, but we're much more in the startup-y kind of a thing. We have a growth curve that goes really fast. And it's hardware, so it's slower there. But we're not intentionally trying to stay this small. My investors would get very angry at me if I was just like, we're good right here. The Slant 3D, we have to build about 1.5 million 3D printers over the next 10 years. In order to meet what we expect to have to produce and build out a warehouse where the shelves make the product so that anybody can just upload a model or find a model and immediately have something delivered. So there's this really high amount of work that we got to do. But where you are right now, the thing that you got to work on is hiring people. Hiring people is expensive. If you cannot afford to hire people, you have a pricing problem. If you cannot increase your prices, then you have a product problem because your product is not valuable enough, or you need to get into a different category. I'm going to drop something in the chat here. 3D print price calculator.com. This web app, actually, let's just go over there. Yeah, I can do this. 3D print price calculator.com, and let's just go to, yeah, that's correct. We are correctly doing this now. All right, so right here, this tool, it's a price calculator, but it's way more than that. It's basically a full business model evaluator. So you put in, yes, your material and your cost per spool and that kind of stuff, which is raw goods, but this goes really deep into like business modeling of selling 3D printed parts. Because you have your labor costs. How much work goes into making the part? Do you charge shipping? Is the shipping free? Where are you going? Let's go 83716 to 00512. Is that a real spot? Please let that be a real zip code. That's a real zip code. Cool. So you got shipping. Well, if you don't make the customer pay, that's what you need to charge as a recommended retail profit. If you are going to offer free shipping, that's what you need to charge. So free shipping just doubled the cost to the customer. You have your failure rate. Electricity is here, but it really doesn't matter. Printer depreciation. Your printer's going to wear out. Pay yourself. Rent and overhead. People don't ever include their rent in their 3D printing business costs, which is so a part of it. If you are only doing 100 parts per month, you are paying $5 per part if you have $500 of rent for the garage. And then taxes. You have sales tax yourself. You have whatever your local income tax is. So like here, we're in Idaho. We have federal income tax of 22% and 5.8% of state income tax. So anything that we have in profit gets taxed at that, which just took, you profited $9, but $3 of it went to Uncle Sam. And then it's different for different countries. Then you have platform fees. You have Etsy, which takes 6.5%, and then you have payment processing, offsite ads that you have to buy at some point because you need to buy ads. Now, this 50-gram part with free shipping should be sold for $37 in order to pay itself and have a viable business. Or you can make no profit and sell it for $25. That's how the costs stack up. That's just the way of the world. Let me go back to correct view there. Like, I know, sorry, I lost that there. But like, just all of this stuff messes with everything. So yeah, if you're working with your business, this is a good tool to just do like a sanity check on your business to see if you're operating correctly. And if you're like underpriced or your margins are too low, you can make some adjustments there. And this is an easy way to see, here's the field that I need to be playing on. Because when you're starting up a business, a lot of the challenge a lot of times is just knowing what questions to ask, because most of the problems of most businesses have been solved already. It's just finding the information that you need when you need it. ChatGPT can be really helpful here for this. No naked copyrighted pictures. Nope, Ben, I recommend against it. This is all while doing it mainly solo, but I don't make enough to hire an employee to maintain 24-hour prints. R5S, you need to make an adjustment to your business model. If you're running full time and it's taking up a bunch of your time right now, you need to adjust your pricing, or this is going to sound shilly. If it's making your life miserable, you need to hire someone or you need to outsource it. Those are the things to do, or shut it down. But if it's making your life miserable, it's not sustainable, and eventually you'll just burn out. So you can outsource it. You can use Teleport, and then we give you 100 printers for free, and then we just charge you the cost of producing it, and then we'll print and ship orders for you. And we know how we run 24/7 because we have thousands of users all working simultaneously, so we can keep the capacity up. Or you learn to hire somebody, which sounds like you need to change your pricing to where you can afford to hire someone, and you also need to learn how to do it. Or you need to radically improve your processes to where it's just easier to do. So maybe double your number of machines. So instead of running 24/7, you're only running 12 hours. That's a way, but that's expensive and you're paying money for it again. So it all sounds like you need to mess with your pricing model. How can you use that tool if you use Slant 3D as your supplier and not your own printers? That tool isn't useful to you if you use us as your supplier, because we just tell you the cost to make the part. And then 3x that cost is generally what you should be doing. In all fairness, you're right. We probably should build another version of the calculator of if you are on Teleport. If you upload an STL to that tool, it shows Teleport print costs, but you can basically, yeah, you're right. We need to just plug that into Teleport and build a business model generator off of Teleport pricing. Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get it added to the calculator. But we mainly made this calculator for people who weren't using Teleport so they could see what their costs were. And then Teleport pops up what the pricing is, and you're like, whoa, it's cheaper to run on Teleport than to pay rent myself for all this stuff. When will pay in installments feature be added to portals? For me, at least, that's what's holding me back from migrating from Shopify to portals. Oh, you mean like buy now, pay later sort of stuff? We don't have that on roadmap right now for portals because it's just is not something that we need right at the moment. Here's the thing. Like the pay in installments I get, but credit cards do that. So a person should be able to buy something with a credit card and then pay in installments. It is the same thing. Different wrapper. You also have to worry about employee costs like Social Security, vacation, taxes. Yes. Where's my keys at? Yes. If you have a full-time employee, this is what people don't understand. If you have a full-time employee, you pay the employee their salary. You pay them $1,000 a month. 30% of that goes to Uncle Sam because personal employee taxes off of the W-2. So they get paid $700 in cash. What employees don't realize is there's another 30% on top of that. So the employer is paying $1,300 to pay an employee $1,000 that the employee only makes $700 from. Because we have to pay insurance and Medicare and Social Security on top of the base salary that we pay to the employee. This is something that employees don't ever recognize. But yes, whatever the payroll is, it is 30% more because of all the taxes and stuff on top of it. As much as 30% more. It can vary, but yeah. It's stupidly expensive. It's more expensive to hire people than the people being hired realize. It's also why if you're working with employees, people would spend more time hiring and interviewing people and being really picky about people if they really recognized how expensive it is to bring someone on and then have them quit. The cost of hiring someone is so high, especially if you're doing like technical work. So like an editor, a software developer, whatever it was. If you're not hiring somebody who's going to be a cog in a machine, who's supposed to think and do work and understand how the company works and make decisions, the hiring process, stupid expensive. And the cost of investing in that person and then having them leave is also stupidly expensive. So and actually more expensive than like giving people raises and working to retain people, even though those are expensive in the moment too. It's so weird because there's these knock-on things that people don't recognize. Also, to be fair, I only switched over about a month ago, so it's been a huge scale up almost every week. With portals, are you able to embed weights? During the print, R5, well, first of all, RR5S, congratulations. I assume when you say switched over about a month ago, you've gone full time on it? That's a big step. So, okay, if you're this early in the process, you're good to go. With teleport, you'd want to use teleport. Portals probably isn't right for you because you presumably have an existing store. You'd want to plug that store into teleport. Teleport, we can include weights that can then be inserted in the model. If there's something that needs to be embedded, we don't do print and pause and insert stuff because it's just no way to do it scalably. If you go to 10,000 parts tomorrow, we can't reliably build out that process to fill in your custom weights. So what we generally recommend, which is also just, you should do this instead anyway, so that your printers can run more continuously, because that pause kills your print time and productivity. Redesign it so that you have like a screw out bottom to where you can put in weights or magnets or whatever else it was and then seal them in there. Then you can use teleport because we will just include those weights with the package and then the customer can like add them in. And it's like IKEA. So the customer owns the product more, appreciates it more, and you're able to scale up and get access to 1,000 more machines without having to build out a whole weird flow. Sweet. Alrighty. Yeah, I don't think we include employee taxes on the cost of the employee. I just set the cost per hour. You're going to have to calculate taxes inside of there when we built out that tool. All right, guys, we're coming up on the end of it. Any final questions here in the last couple minutes? Because we're probably going to have to end this lunch hour. I'll do it again tomorrow. We're doing it again on Saturday. Same time, same place. So if you need more help, we can go there. Yeah, I left my normal corporate job to go full-time with my 3D printing biz in November. That's why it's been so hectic. Oh, okay. So you quit in November. So yes, you're still coming off the Christmas season. Got it. Yeah, if you want to email info@slant3d.com, we'll set up a call with you, and it would be me or somebody else on the team or something like that. I'm happy to talk to you to kind of see what you're doing and like what your product is and places that you can optimize to try to get it rolling there. But it's really sick that you're able to leave your corporate job to do that. Like that is a big breakthrough, and that is way further along than most 3D printing businesses ever get. A lot of people do not break $1,000 in sales. So to be at the level where you're making a living with this is great. And if you're full-time on it, you're starting up a business, there's going to be 24-hour days. But so long as you're continually grinding and iterating and improving on stuff and not just simply checking in each day and just doing the stuff each day, it will get better. So the very fact that you're making the move of asking the question of like, how do I fix this problem? You're ahead of most folks because most people just wallow in the problem. So you're looking for the solution to improve it. So you're doing way better than most folks. Someone told me adding a pay in 4 payments of $60 with shop pay for a $244 product on your store helps increase sales. True or myth? I presume it's probably true, but I don't have enough data on it. I would just Google Shopify, and they'll probably have data on that because they created the feature, so it must increase sales. And they didn't kill the feature, so it must be fine. What would you say are appropriate precautions to take for working with ASA in a permanent setup? I don't know. It's fine. ASA doesn't have many problems with it. It smells kind of bad, but it's not like it's noxious. It's certainly not as noxious as ASA. ASA is demonstrably noxious. Or ABS is demonstrably noxious. ASA is fine. I mean, it's not good. Anything that smells that bad generally isn't good for you. Again, use common sense. If your body says, I don't like this, get away from it. But yeah, yeah, I would just print it. Go crazy. Cool. Yeah, R5S, reach out. We'll see if we can help you there. Happy to help out anybody. Anybody who's gotten to your stage or something, I am happy to talk to you and help out. you've passed the blood-brain barrier to where we can help you as much as we can. Also, actually, R5S, if you're a Reddit user, you might go over to the 3D Print Entrepreneurs subreddit. There might be more folks over there who can help also. Give some insights about like running the print farm and pricing and design and all the rest of it. That everybody kind of goes over everything over there. It's a pretty good community. My body says I don't like PLA. Well, I guess you're really up a creek then, there, Chaotic Bean. That's a rough life. Alrighty, guys, we're gonna go ahead and call it right there. Thanks so much for watching, guys. This has been fun. Again, have the stream again tomorrow. So if anybody has follow-up questions, like that stream, and we'll pop it up again. But that'll be at noon tomorrow. Have a good one, guys.